What is something a friend did that accidentally turned you on? Comforted me. I was crying about how I was struggling in life and in college. I was thinking about withdrawing for a semester to get things together. My mom had just been diagnosed with manuscript. I went to a female friend for help. She started rubbing my head and hugging me and saying I'll be okay. I was so deprived of human touch, it was amazing and made me feel so much better. Then I got hard, which made me feel extremely guilty. I remember once I was reading on my laptop and a female friend came over to me wearing a new perfume. I'm not sure what was in it, but it activated all the right buttons. My still very good friends with ex has a perfume like this. It gets me on every time, regardless of who's wearing it, including, but not limited to, a canteen lady at work, an elder cashier at the supermarket I shop at, the cute but too young girl at the butcher's also can handle a knife, but wouldn't I smell it at least twice whenever I'm in a city for errands, etc. We would go on walks every night for a few months, just talking about our days. Her laugh was so interesting to me. I could feel a lot of conflict in it somehow, and I always wanted to know what was going on, but didn't want to ask too many questions. Eventually she told me about life at home, which was awful to hear. But while she was telling me, she grabbed my hand. It lasted maybe 2 weeks, just holding hands and walking, chatting and just strictly friendship. Then she moved to the opposite coast. She was sweet and beautiful outwardly, and in her soul. She winked at me one time when punking her young sibling. It left me breathless. We were 16 at the time, but I still wonder where she ended up. Miss T. Haas, if you're reading this, let's go for a walk. I went over to his friend's house where he was staying. He was working on his car, and I was like, yo, I'm here, loser. And he pushes himself out from under the car, and he was all greasy, and the first thing he asked was if I'd help work on the car with him. And when I said yes, he just had the biggest smile on his face. He looked like an idiot and died. I know, man. The greasy look with the beautiful white smile was just ugh. I feel weird sharing this, since I have otherwise not felt this way towards her, and she's one of my best friends in a completely platonic way. She's objectively attractive, but I've seen her bare breasts and not been turned on, is how platonic we usually are. What accidentally turned me on was the time we were at another friend's house and off to the side talking about random stuff, when she suddenly remembered something she wanted to tell me. She perked up, sort of yelled my name, then punched me in the arm to get my attention. I genuinely have no idea what she said next, because I was both incredibly turned on and incredibly shocked that I was turned on. I was playing cards with a group of friends and we were mocking one of our friends because anyone could tell when he had a good hand, because he would make a small moan after looking at his hand. So we were all pretending to moan after looking at our hands, just to make fun of him. There was one girl in our group, and to put it bluntly, she was a butch lesbian, no offense. She had a low but feminine voice, and whenever she moaned, man, that was some hot moaning. I've never been attracted to her or anything, and clearly it wasn't gonna happen. But that one time she suddenly looked very hot to me. Never talked about that to anyone. Didn't wanna risk disrespect my friend. Night out. Me, and few friends just chilling and drinking. Then one of my friends F, who had drunk a couple of drinks too much, tried to stand up from the sofa we were sitting on, but then she fell back, and at the same time she grabbed me by my thigh for support. In which point the little guy woke up, and now I'm scared if someone touches my thighs. A friend of mine is a hardcore extrovert, and I'm a hardcore introvert, so long talks with her are extremely draining for me. When I first met her, she was going on and on about something, and I started dissociating. I got really focused on her movements. She's very animated. She'd flip her hair, shift her weight and throw her hips out to one side or the other. Basically sassy cartoon character type motions, lol. She's got a high-pitched voice that sounds like a little bell to me, so I basically got mesmerized and did not actually hear anything she was saying. My brain just shut down and was like, pretty lady, pretty hair, pretty voice. She was meant to be going out with her friends one night, so she was all dressed up, but agreed to help me get headshots for my art project at the last minute, needed reference pictures, We took a little longer than expected, so she ended up staying home, and we hung out and chatted for a while. From the way she was sitting, her dress kept slowly sliding up revealing her thigh, so she'd fix it. I was across the room from her, so I could see what was going on. After this happened a couple of times she kinda stopped fixing it. It wasn't revealing too much, but I couldn't help but notice. That was the moment when I realized I had a thing for legs. We have a happy ending though. She's now my girlfriend and things are going really well. Edit should clarify. Nothing happened that night. We were good friends at the time, so I guess she was comfortable with me. I was also with someone else at the time as well. Me and my current girlfriend didn't get together for another few years. I was a theater kid in high school. One of my costers had this odd habit. When she'd need to focus on a difficult part or cue we were working on, she'd bite her lower lip and get this really angry look on her face. I don't know why, but that stupid look on her face drove me up the goddamned wall. We were in Sweeney Todd my senior year. I was Sweeney. She was Mrs. Lovett. There's a section of the play where we danced together and sang a song called A Little Priest. We were both great singers, but god-awful dancers. So it took a long time to master it. The whole time rehearsing, she'd stare at me angrily, biting her lower lip. That was like 16 years ago, and I still get a little flustered when I think about it, lol. Me and my best guy friend were fighting. We both did jiu-jitsu for a long time, so it was pretty normal for us to grapple, and at one point he was on top of me in between my legs with my wrists pinned down, and he was breathing heavily right next to my ear. Needless to say I had to shove him off me, so I didn't kiss him right then and there. We are dating now. Girl I knew in college for 4 years and we were strictly platonic. We came out of a bar one night and a guy who frequently asked people for money was walking up, so without missing a beat she grabs me and starts making out with me. Guy walks away and she pulls back staring up at me for a second before patting me on the chest and saying works every time. We left and never spoke about it again. Nice improvisation, Kristen, but now my pants don't fit right. Whipped out his dictopus in front of me. No shame or anything. I'd never had some guy just casually say gossipus and not even turn away. Now it's a fetish. Don't be alarmed. I think this one might be more common than you think. I was with a woman many years ago who would follow me to the John to hold it for me. She was fascinated with standing behind me and guiding the stream. I didn't mind, it made her happy and invariably led to some sort of action. No, she wasn't into piss play or anything, no offense. If you're reading this you were the best kind of freak. People like what they like, and everyone should know the joy of helicoptering, even if they weren't born with the rotor. The summer before my junior year of high school, my friend and I had to attend a meeting to prepare for the next year of school, since we would be doing dual credit college courses. She had apparently had golf practice all day. Our school had a golf team, so she came in wearing white denim shorts, a shirt, and a baseball cap with her ponytail hanging out the back. I had a roasted my friend as hot moment and then had a crush on her for 2 years. To this day, baseball caps and ponytails on women just does something to me. I had another friend in college who I'd been in some plays with. We did a lot of hangouts at the place she rented. Sometimes when hanging out, she'd have me sit in front of the couch and she'd go to town on my neck and shoulders because I was always a tense ball of stress and anxiety. Then she'd have me return the favor and let me massage her neck and shoulders, temples, even her thighs and calves. Yeah, it turned me on, but I didn't want to mix any signals and be weird. Later on I found out from a mutual friend that everyone assumed we were fooling around privately. Guess that was a missed opportunity. Back in college, I used to wear hairbands on my wrist because I'm a dude with long hair. I also had a really bad nail biting problem. One of my female friends read online that associating a bad habit with a small amount of pain would help to curb the habit in time. So she got it into her head that every time she caught me biting my nails, she'd come over, pull on my wrist elastic, and let it go to make it snap back into my wrist, causing a very small but noticeable amount of pain. And this is how I found out I'm not adverse to low-grade impact play. Plus, having someone care enough about you to want to correct one of your bad habits. Ooh, oh yeah. Now that's the good stuff. For your information, I still have a nail biting problem, so I guess it didn't work anyway. Co-worker friend I was lusting for, but keeping myself under control since she was happily married. She flipped her hair my direction while we were working at a desk. Face full of pheromones. About knocked me on my ass. Told her to stop that. So she did it on purpose. Nearly smacking me in the face. Have you ever simultaneously felt your blood boil and your entire body relax? It's an experience. We played a blindfold catch game where we would have these squeaky shoes and our friend would have to catch us. If they touched our forehead, we would wear the blindfold and they would wear the squeaky toys. One of my female friends was the one, and I was hiding behind a tree. She turns around to catch me. She trips over a rock and falls onto me. She was all over me. We had a 30-second awkward moment there and eventually we moved on and acted like nothing happened. We were video chatting after being long distance friends for years. I'd seen pictures of her, had her on Facebook for 5+ years. I knew she was cute. What I didn't know was how strongly I'd react to her flirting. She was in something low cut this particular day, and there was a lull and quiet in the convo. She leans forward to stretch, and in the process I see down her shirt and get a side profile when she twists to the side, and the screen full when she leans back to pop her back. Knew she was cute, knew she was attractive, but I don't know if it was just distance or how long I'd known her or what. That was the first day I'd felt full on arousal at her and had trouble banishing the images from my mind. 9 years together, 2 kids, a house and me moving 2 states over later and she still swears it wasn't on purpose. I was formerly in a somewhat unique position where I saw a lot of my female friends naked in provocative poses, but for entirely professional reasons. That said, one time one of them was idly asking what stuff I was into when it came to adult content, and then sent me a low quality cell video of her doing exactly that, starting with her saying "this one's just for you," and it was one of the most arousing things ever. I had photographed the girl doing naughty stuff in HD a dozen times at least by that point, but something about a personal video that I didn't expect was insanely hot. My best platonic female friend likes to twerk with and on the girls. When she throws parties they all do it. When they are drunk it's just a fun time, nothing sexual about it. Well, from my perspective, as she is heterosexual. Anyways, we are both in serious committed relationships, and one time at a party she started twerking on me, and I was just so flustered I didn't even know what to do or say. I froze up, and after a very short moment which felt like an eternity she stopped, laughed, said "oops, I don't know why I did that, sorry, I'm too drunk right now," and walked away. He was sitting on the other end of the couch from me, and I had my feet upon the couch beside him, and he said his hands were cold, so he grabbed my feet and started rubbing his hands under my jeans on my ankles. He just kept kinda rubbing my ankles and eventually his hands made it up to my calf. It was so casual, but the way he was willingly rubbing my legs really got me, lol. It was my first year of high school, and my friend decided to wear a rather light dress to school one day due to how hot it was outside. Well, you could clearly see her underwear through it, but oddly only from the backside, and it just so happened that I was sitting behind her all of the lessons we had that day, and if that wasn't enough, it was of the fancy variety. I swear, I had a boner for the entire day. They joined the call I was in. I was venting to my friend about someone sexting me via Instagram, and my at the time crush had joined the call and they were trying to comfort me. I got so turned on that I had to tell them I'd be right back, mute myself and end ducking panic, because why the heck did my crush telling me it would be alright turned me on. A few months later I told them I liked them. It turns out they liked me too, and then after a few months we both kinda lost interest for each other. We are still best friends today though. She lifted her shirt up and had me feel how strong her abs were getting. She's the type of person who doesn't normally like being touched, but she grabbed my hand and put it on her stomach. By that point I'd been suppressing my feelings for her for years. It was after a yoga class, so loose fitted clothing was involved, so I had to sit down very quickly after that. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more videos.